as they begin their journey there once more. James Trafford starts in goal as a back four of Lewis, Kusanov, Elaine and Ake. Rodri and Reinders make up the two in centre midfield, three behind the striker of Mkhitaryan, Shirky and Semenyo. Haaland leads the line for Manchester City this afternoon. Alongside myself, Josh Watton, on BBC Radio Manchester 5 Sports Extra this afternoon is Jim Whitley. Jim, a few eyebrows were raised when we saw this team. Semenyo's obviously in his debut. We spoke about him in the build-up, but to have the likes of Erling Haaland, Ryan Shirky, Tiana Reinders and Rodri in there, Pep Guardiola's showing the FA Cup plenty of respect this afternoon, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, Haaland for me was the biggest one. I just thought he'd have a rest and then rotate up front. So to have such, and Rodri as well, the Ballon d'Or winner there. I mean, Exeter must be loving this as a player to play against such all the top dogs here. But it is an incredibly strong side, and perhaps with the last draws they've had, they've just wanted to get the job done, get some goals in, and call it a day.
As both teams begin their pre-match rituals, Exeter City in their home strips this afternoon of red shirts, white stripes with black shorts and red socks. Manchester City in their traditional sky blue home jerseys, white shorts and sky blue socks. We're just watching the captains, Rodri with the armband on for Manchester City this afternoon, exchanging the coin toss, the handshakes, both sides begin a huddle in their own ends of the pitch. And Jim, well, we've seen one big upset already this afternoon. I'm guessing the message in that Manchester City huddle is we can't slip up here.
Absolutely. Don't be one of the stats. I think that'll be the instructions of Pep. But also, I have to say this again, Pep will be telling the players it's not a given just because you're playing a team that's probably not that in form. You have to give your best in this and take it as a Premiership game, because otherwise these Exeter players will be trying to give an extra 10% to try and beat a team like Manchester City. So they have to be at the races.
One man who knows all about upsetting Manchester City in this competition is Gary Caldwell. He, of course, lifted the FA Cup with Wigan Athletic back in 2013. These days he is the head coach of Exeter. This is how his side line up. We've got Whitworth in goal, back three of Turns, Fitzwater and Woodhouse, wing backs of Niskanen and Oakes, the three in midfield of Doyle, Harris, Brierley and Cole, two up front made up of Wareham and Aitchison. We are underway, BBC Radio Manchester 5 Sports Extra, and live on BBC Sounds this afternoon, so you can take us wherever you are heading in the UK for your third round FA Cup tie. Trafford in the possession inside his own 18-yard box. He's got plenty of support in and around him as Manchester City is. We tend to see them build from the back. Elaine just carries it up towards halfway before exchanging a 1-2. Rodri now takes control of things before looking to shift it out towards the right-hand side. Kusanov finds himself tight to the touchline. He's put under a bit of pressure there by Aitchison, who forces him all the way back towards his own penalty area. James Trafford back in the side this afternoon. Of course, he started the season as number one, played the first three league games before Gianluigi Donnarumma was signed. He's played every game in the League Cup, so it looks as though he will continue to be Pep Guardiola's cup goalkeeper. City on the move in the early stages. Left-hand side with Ake in the left-back position. Gives it to Semenyo for his first touch in Manchester City blue. Back up towards the halfway line where Elaine just puts his studs on the ball before rolling it out towards the left-hand side. Semenyo's there, tries to clip it in towards the 18-yard box. Haaland was lurking. Exeter do well to scramble, and it's put over the touchline. On the far side is Manchester City. Attack from left to right as we look at things for an Exeter throw-in. Manchester City again just looking to assert themselves in the early stages of this one.
Absolutely. Although in possession, they have to say they're looking like playing with the two fullbacks pushing on. The two centre-backs, Kusanov and Allen, seem to be on their own with Rodri just in front of him. So the fullbacks have pushed on, and so have the wingers. I have to say they're looking like they're playing with a back five at the moment, being very, very tight.
First touch from Mkhitaryan, just puts it through the legs of Doyle Harris there as it switched across towards the left-hand side where City launch this next wave of attack. Semenyo has it. He's got the chance to have a run at Niskanen. Cuts back on his right foot before just laying the ball into the path of Shirky, who's come across towards the left-hand side to get involved. Rodri's there as well as he collects possession. Options in the middle for Pep Guardiola's side. It's Ake who glances towards the penalty area before instead laying the ball off. Shirky has it, flicks it over the top into the box. The goalkeeper, Joe Whitworth, quick as a flash in front of his 7,500 travelling Exeter City supporters behind the goal there, gathers the ball and regains the possession for Exeter. 0-0 after 2.5 minutes in this one.
I was watching Josh in the warm-up, and McAdoo's finishing was incredible, I have to say. So I'm desperate for him to get on the ball, put it onto his left foot, and see if he can do what he did in the warm-up, because it was absolutely wonderful to see.
Sunderland are through to the next round, a 3-0 win on a penalty shootout against Everton after it was tied 1 apiece after extra time. City have seen all of the ball so far in this one. It looks as though Exeter have gone with just the one up front, maybe a 5-4-1 formation for them for Manchester City to break down. Ake has it, plays it towards Rodri, who puts his right boot on the ball, twists and turns it out towards the right side where McAdoo again can have a run at the penalty area. Cuts back on his left foot, good bit of skill to get past the defence. Lays it off towards Lewis, who looks up to try and find the ball in. Semenyo made a run in, opting not to use him as a ball in the end is turned back towards Lewis once again. Rodri in support. This time Exeter just engage a little bit higher up the field here. The challenge comes in, and it's a good run from Wareham to win the ball back for the visitors, and they can try control things with Oates on this left hand side. But Manchester City again, quick as you can, put the pressure on. This time McAdoo isn't quick enough to get onto a loose ball. Exeter go direct down the left hand side. It just trickles across the touchline for a Manchester City throw in.
I tell you what, Josh, that was interesting. McAdoo got it out wide, and Kushinoff went on an overlap. Bearing in mind,
could be an early chance for Exeter. The shot comes in, it takes a deflection, does it off the defence. Will be a corner kick here to Exeter City. Max Allain there back defensively, just sticks out his left leg to stop Wareham's curling effort going goal bound. But now City have a corner to defend. Yes,
absolutely. They are trying to push very, very quickly, I have to say, Manchester City, with those two centre-backs. And like I said, Kushinoff went an overlap, leaving one at the back, which I found incredible. So I think they're trying to look for an early goal and trying to confuse Exeter. There's a lot of men in midfield with Rico Lewis going in there and Ake. So it'll be interesting to see how they go along.
4.5 minutes play, BBC Radio Manchester. 0-0 still the score here at the Etihad, but the first corner of the game goes the way of the visitors. Exeter with a chance to get the ball into the penalty area. It's right-footed, drilled into the 6-yard area at the far post, and Trafford had to be alert. Tips it over the crossbar. Oakes rose the highest to get his head on the ball. Trafford does well, 2 hands on it over the bar. Repeat corner for Exeter. Warning signs for City.
I can't believe how he's managed to get the ball. I'm sure he's against Rodri there. He's about 4 foot nothing. An unbelievable jump, took him by surprise, and he's doing the same again. He's just hanging out the back. The players are just Cole as well at number 12. He's hanging out the back unmarked. Interesting to see how their marking's going here, Manchester City.
Second corner in succession for Exeter. Briley to whip it in. Once had a trial at Manchester City. Right-footed again towards the far side of the penalty area. Ake heads clear, edge of the area. Aitchison looked to shape a shot. However, the referee, Adam Herzeg, spots an infringement inside the 6-yard area. Manchester City have a free kick, but alarm bells may be ringing after James Trafford was forced into action. And you often see in these FA Cup third-round games, a lower league side, the most likely they are to score is from a set-piece scenario such as that one.
Yes, absolutely, because there's only so much you can do on looking at how they performed.
For every carton or bucket of Lavox or Honey tomato mix you buy,
very surprising on that header, and just got to be careful on corners. Manchester City have got hold of the ball now, and I think they need to get a goal quickly.
Reminder, Macclesfield put their place in the 4th round with a stunning win over the holders Crystal Palace, 2-1 at the Moss Rose. They're in the heart alongside Wigan Athletic, who progressed last night by beating Preston North End by a 1-0. Man City in the possession just shy of the halfway line. Bolton Wanderers in league action this afternoon will be across to London Road shortly as City launch another attack up the left hand side. It's Semenyo looking to weave his way through 4 Exeter City shirts there, couldn't manage to do so. It's the away side who rekindle the possession on the edge of their own penalty area. Not the best clearance there from Fitzwater, gives a possession to Pep Guardiola's side. McAdoo on the right, in fact it's Lewis who picks up the loose ball. McAdoo switched across towards his right wing position, but City opt to go left instead to Semenyo once more. Seen plenty of the ball in the opening 7 minutes of his Manchester City career. Now it is McAdoo with space to work with. Right hand side, option via Kusanov, opts not to use him, just brings it back more centrally where Shirky can collect, looks to dart past his man down the right hand touchline, back heels it back up the line. Not the best pass there from Ryan Shirky, but Manchester City will have the throw in.
Yeah, he got the ball, he drove towards the right wing, he tried a little cheeky back heel which he didn't quite catch, and they've managed to get a throw in, Manchester City, with Rico Lewis on the ball right now, waiting for the throw in. They're looking for Rodri's looked after it there.
The ball turned back all the way towards Maxwell. Wasn't the best ball to him. He has to retreat around 20 yards or so to collect it inside his own half of the field. There's almost only him and Kusanov inside City's own half of the pitch as they launch an attack up the right hand side. McAdoo has the possession. Oaks to beat, stands him up. He has his left foot hovering on top of the ball before he flicks it down towards the byline. It's going to be Lewis who gives chase. Bit of a coming together. It looks to take a ricochet off of Luca Woodhouse there. The referee agrees. Corner kick given to Manchester City, and it looks as though that Pep Guardiola's side are looking to turn the screw after 8 minutes in this one.
Absolutely, McAdoo was on the ball. He made a forward pass, almost made Lewis go for it, and the defender got his feet mixed up, and the ball's gone out for a corner. And who is that taking?
Looks to be McAdoo stood over it on debut for Manchester City. Left-footed ball towards the near post. Far too easy for Joe Whitworth to come and collect. Rises with both arms in the air, catches it, and just looks to slow things down from an Exeter point of view. Who can blame him? The referee, Adam Hurt, said just begins the countdown. But just a word on McAdoo, only 17 years of age. This is his first competitive appearance for Manchester City's first team. He's probably the only sort of academy player who we might have expected to appear in the starting 11 to get that chance. I'm guessing there's a bit of pressure on himself to go out and prove the point this afternoon.
Very, very difficult. And when players come in like this, and Semenyo as well, you think you have to do something else or something extra instead of just doing what you. Semenyo's just on the ball there, he's tried to dribble and lost the ball, and it'll be the same for McAdoo. They want to do something, but actually just get on the ball, pass it, get your confidence up, and the rest will follow. Like I said, I watched him in the warm-up. He was unbelievable. So he's got the confidence. For him, I would go against that defender, just try luck and see how he does.
9.5 minutes on the clock. Will be across to London Road shortly, but Manchester City on the front foot again in this one. However, it is the visitors who've come closest to taking the lead. For header from a corner from Oaks, well saved by James Trafford. Elaine with plenty of options left and right. Opts just to roll it 10 yards or so to his right where Kusanov collects, finds Lewis, looks for the 1-2 on the edge of the penalty area. Exeter win the possession back, clip it down the left hand side. That's going to be easily dealt with there by Manchester City. Ball all the way back to James Trafford. So let's get to London Road. Bolton against Peterborough, Jack Dearden.
10 minutes gone, 2 opportunities for Bolton, both falling to Thierry Gale. First of all, his shot was scrambled clear. Decent defensive work that by the home side, but should have done much better moments later. Both of these opportunities set up by the speed and the footwork of the Wanderers winger, Cozy Dewberry. On the second occasion, Gale smashed his shot high wide and not particularly handsome. Two opportunities.
City, Haaland on the edge of the area, deflects over the crossbar. That could have gone anywhere. Sorry to interrupt you, Jack, but a big opportunity there for Erling Haaland. Instinctive on the spin, hits it on the volley. Looked destined for the back of the net until the deflection came in. Turns it over the bar. Corner kick to Manchester City. It's well defended in the air by Exeter just to ensure that the goalkeeper, Joe Whitworth, wasn't called into any sort of action. But City still on the front foot via the corner. McAdoo ball in. Once again, Whitworth comes, both arms on it. This time opts to punch. McAdoo collects again into the penalty area. Shimmy, cross, far post. Ake underneath it, back across goal. Haaland touches it down. It's in the 6-yard area. Can City find the shot? They can, as it crept over the line. The referee's watch has buzzed. The goal has been given, and Manchester City have the lead in this one. It's not the most glamorous, but it's Max Elaine who claims it. He reels away in celebration, punches the air. A first goal for City for him, and the Blues have the lead in this one. Manchester City 1, Exeter City 0.
Oh, it's brilliant from Manchester City. It all started with Haaland, his first touch on the ball. He chested it down, took it on the half volley on his left foot, which then brought about the corner. McAdoo managed to play the ball and it got ricocheted back into him. He's played it to the back stick. But Ake knocked it across, and there was a couple of intricacies in Haaland with a little header. It was like a little pinball in the box. And Max Allen, he'll be delighted. His first goal, it didn't smash the back of the net, but I don't think he will care. It's gone over the line, and brilliant for Manchester City. I think they've got the early goal that we're after, and they can now build on this.
The first goal for Max Allen, he looked delighted with that. 12 minutes it's taken before Manchester City taken the lead in this one. BBC Radio Manchester on BBC Sounds this afternoon, as well as 5 Sports Extra. Exeter have work to do if they're going to pull up what will be one of the most remarkable upsets in FA Cup history this afternoon. We've already seen one of them, as Macclesfield have dumped out the holders Crystal Palace in the early kick-off on BBC Radio Manchester. With you till 6 o'clock this evening for all of your football in action. Salford City will also have their name in the hat alongside Swindon Town. Their game this afternoon has been postponed due to a frozen pitch. It's the same case for Oldham's League 2 tie against Notts County. Here at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City 1, Exeter 0. 12 minutes played. Max Allen, the difference between the two sides. And I'm guessing that just takes a little bit of pressure off the City side as well, Jim Whitley. Do you expect them to play with a little bit more freedom in possession now?
Absolutely. They're knocking little 1-2s, 5-yard balls around in that midfield area. They're obviously going to tire Exeter out, because this is what Manchester City are very good at doing. You've got Rico in there, Ake's coming in there, you've got Shirky's dropping in deep. It is so many 5 and 10 yard passes. I mean, they've got 5 or 6 at the back at the moment with 3 or 4 in midfield. It's very, very difficult to break down. So they will try and push and pull them and move the ball around before that opening comes about. And like I said, Haaland's hardly touched the ball except for that half volley, and he'll wait patiently until that time arises.
Elsewhere in the FA Cup, Burnley 1, Millwall 0, and in League 1, Leyton Orient taking the lead against league leaders Cardiff City 1-0 at Brisbane Road. Out on the left-hand side, Manchester City look to launch another attack. Lewis has made his way across there. Here's Semenyo to the byline, drills it across goal. Right boot of Fitzwater just prevents it from creeping across the goal line again, and Exeter win a free kick on the edge of their own penalty area. That's the first time Semenyo's been able to get to the byline in this one, and it was a wicked ball into that 6-yard area.
Yes, it was. He's had a couple of touches early on, and obviously all the eyes will be on him. I don't want him to do too much, because he has tried to take a couple of men and gone into a brick wall. That was brilliant. Got it, shifted it, used his pace, and went to put it across the box. This is what he needs to do more often. But like I said, in this Pep team, you just need to get confident, get onto the ball, pass and move it, and that opening will appear.
Trafford has the possession for Manchester City. Antoine Semenyo may be a decent game for him to make his debut, and he's no stranger to the Football League style of play, having done his apprenticeships with Notts County, played for Sunderland while they were down in League 1.
The heart of Africa, a new kind of school is rising.
To win a free kick just shy of the centre circle. They're quick to take it as well, as they look to launch an attack up the right hand side. Aitchison has it, finds support in Harris as well, back towards Aitchison by the corner flag. Only one red and white shirt inside the penalty area. Eventually the ball is drilled in, looking for the intended target, which is Wareham. Collides with James Trafford. It's always going to be a free kick to a goalkeeper, that one. City have the possession back, 1-0.
Absolutely, but he is the top scorer. He's one that'll get into the space. I was watching his movement in the box. He was trying to get on the blind side of any of those City centre halves. Knows his craft, but on that occasion, against the keeper, he's just tried his luck, nudged him, and got the free kick.
Jayden Wareham, formerly of Chelsea, started his career in non-league at Woking, where he impressed the scouts at Stamford Bridge. They opted to take him to West London, where he didn't actually make a competitive appearance. Made the move to Exeter City at the end of last season after a spell with Reading, and now he's looking to impress at the Etihad Stadium. He's not seen a lot of the ball in this one though. It's been all Manchester City so far, as you would expect in the third round of the FA Cup. 17 on the clock on BBC Radio. Manchester City 1, Exeter 0, also on 5 Sports Extra and on BBC Sounds this afternoon. Plenty of action to come your way still tomorrow. Manchester United in their third round tie against Brighton under the stewardship of Darren Fletcher, as they look to book their place in the fourth round of the competition. Exeter have the possession on the right hand side of their own penalty area. Fitzwater has it. They seem quite comfortable in attempting to play their way out of the back, and they've done well here to work it up towards the halfway line, where Aitchison on the turn fires it out towards the right hand side. Exeter commit bodies forward. City do well to track back and just regain that defensive structure of theirs before Exeter opt to slow things down. Doyle Harris has it, just plays the 1-2 with the former Rochdale man, Ethan Briley. Ball down the right-hand side, chance in the penalty area. Wareham cuts back, challenge comes in from the City defence and does well just to scramble the ball clear. He looks a very lonely figure up front, does Jaden Wareham for Exeter. Just couldn't quite fashion the effort on goal there.
He does, but it was a great ball through when he found himself running towards goal with Kushinov after him. I always find that it's a bit too easy at times for Manchester City. One ball through and they're almost there. His pace gets him out of all kinds of trouble, but City, we need to look at that defensively against better players. That could be a goal.
Nathan Ake plays it in towards Antoine Semenyo. Ake links with a move away from Manchester City in the January transfer window. The likes of Barcelona being rumoured to be interested, and have a few London sides in the shape of Fulham, West Ham United and Crystal Palace. However, he started now the last 2 games in Pep Guardiola's Sky Blue Manchester City, as Rodri has a possession once more on the halfway line. He's just put under a bit of pressure and Rodri loses out, and this could provide an opening for Exeter to break forward. Up the right hand side they look to go. Eventually it shifted across towards the left. Aitchison was in an offside position. You feel as though Exeter probably could have done a little bit better with that one. Rodri had his pocket picked on the halfway line. You don't see that all too often. Much to Manchester City's relief, the offside flag goes up. No, they don't, but it's a tricky game they're playing in that the 2 centre-backs are the only defenders there, with Rodri just ahead of him. And so on that occasion, when Rodri he went to play the ball back to the centre-backs, and he got pickpocketed, and of course then they're under attack. So going forward, it's very advantageous. They've got so many men in there, the midfielders, they're popping it 1-2s, but if they nick it, they're straight through on goal, I have to say. And it's not like Rodri either to give that ball away. Former Manchester City midfielder Jim Whitley alongside myself, Josh Watton, for commentary of this FA Cup third round tie. Manchester City leading Exeter City by 1-0. The Grecians looking to play their way out from the back once more. Right hand side, instead they go direct. It's Ake underneath it and wins ahead of Manchester City. We'll be back across to London Road shortly, but Manchester City looking to make inroads in behind once more here. 1-0 their lead. Kusanov in the possession on the right of halfway. Carries it towards the Exeter half of the field. Once again, Shirky, he's come quite deep in this one, looking to get himself involved as well, just to turn the corner and feed it in towards Lewis, who's occupying that inverted full-back position that we've seen Pep Guardiola deploy on a number of occasions. City switching across towards Semenyo, tight to the touchline on the far side. City playing from left to right in the first half as we look at it here at the Etihad Stadium. Patient build-up from the Sky Blues. Rodri in the possession, out towards Kusanov again, who's made his way into more of a right-back position here. Finds McAdoo, who has 2 red and white shirts around him. Does well just to shepherd the ball out in the end and win a throw-in for his side. Lewis is across to take it. There's not too many options down the touchline here for Rico Lewis, as the attack maybe just goes a little bit stale. This time it just bounces off the laces of McAdoo out for an Exeter City throw-in. So we've got this break in play. Let's get back to London Road. Peterborough against Bolton with Jack Dearden.
Still 0-0, Josh. Wanderers a bit wasteful in possession, particularly in the final third of the field when they're attacking the Peterborough goal. It's a very open game though. Peterborough very, very capable on counter-attacking opportunities, as do Bolton on occasions. 2 opportunities though, both falling to Gale. At least one of those should have given Wanderers a lead, but both chances not taken. Still remains 0-0.
Chance for City into the penalty area. Reiners has it, twist towards the byline before the challenge from Fitzwater comes in. Does well to stretch out his left leg and just hook the ball back in towards the shins of Reiners. It then deflects out for an Exeter City goal kick. Just a word on Exeter so far, because defensively they have looked quite solid. It was just that scrap inside the penalty area where Manchester City were able to capitalise.
Yeah, that's because they're trying to play 10 at the back. They are going so. I think I counted 6 at one stage there. They're being penned back. There's nothing else they can do. And but on that occasion, Semenyo, I have to say, got the ball. Ake went an overlap. He cut inside and played a fantastic ball into Reinders, who had also made a forward run. Good play to try and break down so many men in defence for Exeter. So they're going to have to be patient, City. They've got the men. They're still playing with these 2 centre backs as the only defenders there, with Rico playing inverted, and so is Ake, with Rodri just in front of those 2 centre halves, and so they're making it very difficult, putting a lot of bodies in midfield, just trying to frustrate Exeter and open the game up.
Manchester City have won every home game against lower league opposition they've faced since 2015. Middlesbrough the last time to cause an upset here as McAdoo breaks forward again on the edge of the penalty area, across towards the right hand side where Lewis looks to collect. The ball just runs over the top of his left boot and he's forced to collect it tight to the touchline on the right hand side. Plays it back up the line looking for Kusanov. Finds Rodri around 5 yards or so to his left, edge of the penalty area as he dribbles laterally and finds Semenyo, edge of the box. There's a shot from him, deflects. Rodri tries, and Rodri smashes it into the bottom corner, and that is an absolutely superb strike from the Ballon d'Or winner, driven low into the bottom corner, and no goalkeeper would have stopped that bullet from Rodri. Manchester City double their advantage in this one. City 2, Exeter 0.
Welcome back, Rodri. Beautiful strike technically. Didn't smash it, used the laces, went for technique, went to keep it down, and he's hit that from about 20-25 yards, and it's driven without a bounce into the net. I think the keeper got a hand to it. But that started with Semenyo getting to the edge of the box. He turned, he shifted the ball onto his right foot, went for a shot, it ricocheted out, and Rodri ran onto it and hit the ball so sweetly. Technically wonderful to see. And Manchester City, after all their dominance, have got the goals they deserved.
Yes, Rodri begins his comeback from injury, or continues rather his comeback from injury. He's played in the last 3, only 1 start in those. This is second since returning to the fray, and City are on the front foot again with Haaland. Right hand side, brings it back on his left foot. He was in an unfamiliar position there where he was looking to cross to a centre forward. It's usually him looking to get on the end of those. Semenyo occupied the centre forward position, however Haaland opted not to try and whip that one in. The ball's ended up all the way at the back of the feet of James Trafford. 2-0 the score to Manchester City. Max Lane and Rodri the goal scorers for Pep Guardiola's side. I think it's fair to say they probably already have 1 foot in the 4th round of football's oldest competition.
Absolutely, but you know they can't rest on 2-0. Go and get 3, go and get 4, then he can bring players off and can rest. The ref has just blown for something there. I don't know quite what he's blown for.
Yeah, spotted something on the halfway line, and he's having a word with Jack Aitchison, and Jaden Wareham's lurking as well.
He's having a word. He's obviously done something, or he's having a few words with the ref off the ball. But yeah, he's had to stop the play for that.
Yeah, there's no complaints there from the Manchester City side or the dugouts, was there?
No. Interestingly, Pep hasn't been off the bench. It's been Reinders that's just occupying the. Unbelievable, really. But
yeah, Colo Torres made his way out towards the touchline a couple of times as well, hasn't he? Yeah, but Pep Guardiola maybe just taking a bit of time off, because he's usually very animated on the touchline, isn't he? So this might be the afternoon to rest his heart rate a little bit. But Gary Caldwell, I'm looking at him on the touchline, and it looks as though he wishes he was playing out there as well at times, because
yes,
he's almost trying to kick the ball, and he's punching the air again as Manchester City just play the triangles around the edge of the Exeter penalty area. McAdoo goes in with a challenge at the end of a loose ball and gives away the free kick, maybe a little bit clumsy there. In fact, Gary Caldwell was on the pitch at one point there.
He was. his gesturing all sorts, I have to say, and yes, I think he wishes he was playing. As a manager, at times you live the moments, and some managers are calm and sit down, like Pep is right now. He's got his feet up, probably got a cup of tea or a glass of wine, I'm not sure, but whereas he is all over the place. But that's a manager for you.
Southampton leading Doncaster Rovers by 2-0 in their FA Cup third round tie here at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City leading 2-0 against Exeter in League One. Bolton still tied 0-0 at Peterborough. Regular updates of that one. Earlier this afternoon, Macclesfield stunned the cup holders Crystal Palace to book their place in the fourth round of the FA Cup. They joined Wigan Athletic, who beat higher division opposition as well, in the shape of Preston North End last night. There's a reduced fixture list this weekend as cup games have caused fixtures to clash, and as well as postponements due to frozen pitches. Games involving Salford City and Oldham Athletic falling foul of the weather too, as Nathan Ake has the possession for Manchester City on the left of halfway. Plays it back towards Elaine. Scored his first goal for Pep Guardiola's men in the 11th minute of this one. 2-0 the score as Reiners weaves his way forward up the left again. Ball in towards Semenyo, edge of the penalty area, just beaten to it. Bundles his man over. Free kick goes away of Exeter City. Feels like it's just going to be damage limitation from now on from their point of view.
Well, yes, although I have to say, on the ball, I've seen them switch to a back two and they push men forward. So I think 2-0, their game plan of trying to keep it as low scoring as possible. I think they've just thought, well, we're 2-0 down now, let's try and push the men forward. So they have changed their shape. I think, Manchester City here on the ball, Haaland.
Yeah, Haaland on the edge of the area, just looked to poke it through towards Semenyo. Shirky was also lurking there as well, but it didn't break, and now Exeter with a rare chance to break forward up the right hand side. Cole has it, forced to retreat back into his own half of the field. A few groans there from his own supporters. 7,500 have made the long journey up from Devon to watch their side this afternoon. But the ball towards Niskanen on the right hand side, towards the penalty area. Ake beats him to it. Trafford collects in his own 6-yard area, and City start from the back again. And the reason why we're not seeing Pep Guardiola so animated on the touchline is he picked up a yellow card against Brighton on Wednesday, which was his third of the season, so he's forced to watch this one from the stands. It is Pep Liners as well as Kolo Torre issuing instructions in the dugouts, which we can see below us, as Rodri has the possession and floats a diagonal ball out towards the left hand side. Semenyo, with the instep of his bright green boot, brings it down, looks to play it in towards a penalty area. No one quite on the same wavelength there, but City still in possession. Clip towards Haaland in the penalty area, just beaten to it this time by Woodhouse. Falls to McAdoo, right of the penalty area, on his left foot. Shimmy looks to try shape to shoot, does he? Still running laterally before the shot eventually does come in. Not sure if it took a deflection on its way through there. The referee says not, goes straight out for a goal kick to Exeter. But McAdoo looking very lively on his City debut here.
Excellent play. Yes, he jinked, he moved the ball. He's always trying to get it onto his left foot. It came right across the 18-yard box to the little centre circle, and he tried to bend it into that far corner. Couldn't quite get his foot around it.
Hello, my name is Asha Patmos. In a different way from other institutions, and that intrigued me to see
Returns it back towards a lane. They're just knocking it round nicely at the back now, Manchester City.
Shirky's kind of ended up in Rodri's position deep. He's a clever player. He knows he's not going to get much of the ball, so he's come deep to try and get it, try and move the ball. So the only one that hasn't really done that is Reinders. He's up front and moving around, but they're just passing and moving, just to try and again shift it around, move Exeter out of position, and that big opening will come along. Semenyo's been good on the ball. He's been coming inside trying to find space, again having to adapt to playing for Manchester City and the number of players that he will come up against, so that's slightly different. He's going to have to adapt. We'll see how this game goes on.
Exeter thought they had the chance to break there, but the ball did just take a nick off the referee and its way through. Now City can attack the edge of the penalty area. The shot comes in before taking a deflection. It was a wicked fizzed-in effort, and Exeter forced to do even more defending here as McAdoo collects it on the right-hand side. Kusanov plays his first-time ball in towards Shirky, who darts towards the edge of the penalty area. Reinders lurking there, couldn't get the final ball in towards Haaland, who was lurking on the edge of the penalty area, but he's in the possession now, into the box, left-footed effort, saved by the goalkeeper, chance on the rebound, challenge comes in. Adam Hertzed doesn't agree, waves for the goal kick to Exeter City. It was a challenge that came in from Woodhouse there. It was a loose ball inside the penalty area. Shirky darted across to try collect it, certainly got something on the end of it before going to ground. We do have the benefit of a replay here. No VAR in operation in the third round of the FA Cup this season. It was Shirky who faked to shoot. Well, Woodhouse went to ground, didn't he? There was contact. Was he on the ground for perhaps too long, which meant that it was Shirky maybe collided with him? I've seen them give him, Jim.
Absolutely. I don't know what a penalty is anymore, I have to be honest with you. When everything's slowed down, it's totally different. But like I said, there's no VAR on this occasion. I thought it was a bit harsh. But there, Semenyo turned on the centre circle there, turned beautifully, played the ball into Haaland. Haaland one touch onto his left foot, played across the goalkeeper. Very unlucky, and it was Shirky the
top the table clash in League One. Will be across to our League One clash shortly as Bolton Wanderers in action against Peterborough. In fact, there's been a goal. Jack Dearden.
But Wanderers hopelessly exposed right at the heart of the penalty area. A long ball. Jimmy J. Morgan read it much better than all, just cleared it away towards the right hand side. The angle was acute, it was pretty difficult, but he absolutely lashed it into the bottom corner. No chance for Tyler Miller. In fairness, Peter have been the better team and Wanderers are behind. They trail by 1-0.
Bolton's was on the road, look to continue. City on the front foot again with McAdoo. Takes it towards the byline, past his man as well. Can he find the cross? Well defended in the end from Woodhouse there, just to get across and scramble it clear on the left side of Exeter's back three. They've got work to do to clear the line still though. It's Briley who takes control of things inside his own box before firing the diagonal across towards the left side of City's defence, where Nathan Ake can collect. Plays a 1-2 with the goal scorer of City's second, Rodri, out towards Semenyo on debut, who just rolls the ball back in field with his right boot. Those three, Ake, Rodri and Semenyo, exchange 3-4 passes between each other before it's squared across towards Elaine, who gave City the lead after 11 minutes in this one. 2-0 the score on BBC Radio Manchester, 5 Sports Extra and the BBC Sounds app. Here come Manchester City again, right of the penalty area. Shirky, winding run, marauds in towards the box, cuts back, right-footed ball in, deflects, corner kick to Manchester City. Good play there from Ryan Shirky.
Absolutely, just saw the space, drove into it, kept going. Haaland's run took a couple of players away. I thought he was going to backheel it into McAdoo, but he didn't, and they got a corner, which is played now.
In towards the penalty area, back across goal at the far post, headed away by Exeter. I thought for a second that was going to nestle in the back of the net. City still on the front foot. McAdoo in towards Haaland, far side of the penalty area, tries to nod it back in towards the 6-yard area. Couldn't find a sky blue shirt, in the end turned all the way back towards the halfway line. Burton taking the lead against non-league Boreham Wood in the FA Cup. 1-0 the score there. Burnley double their advantage against Millwall in their third round tie. City on the front foot, ball in, takes a deflection, almost falls at the boot of Semenyo. Instead it's cleared back up towards halfway. Almost everyone on the pitch is crammed inside the final third here as City attack once more. Deflects high in towards the penalty area, and it's quite a simple save for Joe Whitworth to come out and make as he goes to ground. It looks as though he's going to require some treatment. as Exeter instantly start to make their way towards the dugout. I've not seen a keeper go down injured to force a break whilst 2-0 down, Jim Whitley, but maybe just a sign of how hard that Exeter are having to work just to stay at 2-0.
Yeah, he's pulling on his toe as if he's got cramp. I don't quite understand what's going on there. We shall see how the treatment goes. But there was from the corner there was a ball dinked into Rico Lewis, and he was probably around 12 yards out, round about the penalty spot, just to the right of the penalty spot, and he tried to hit it first time towards Haaland, and actually he had so much time in the ball, he probably could have brought it down and had a shot. But this is football for you. As the treatment goes on, all the players come and have drinks, taking on instructions, and yes, we'll see what happens. They'll still probe Manchester City, I think, Josh, as the keeper stands up now. I don't really know what was wrong with him.
Looks as though he's received treatment on that right thigh of his as he shakes his leg off. The magic spray, magic sponges maybe being on there from the physios. As we're going to see scenes of the huge travelling support up from Exeter City. Big clash for them. They reached the 4th round last season. That's the first time they got there since 1981, where they reached the quarter-final. That was their best ever finish in the competition. It's arguably one of the biggest days for them as well.
Absolutely. You're talking about the magic sponge. That used to actually come on in a bucket when I played, and as soon as they brought the magic sponge out, you were fine. You didn't want it on a cold day. You just got up, I'll be fine. It was horrible. But yeah, the times have changed, the recovery's changed, and everything else they use has changed.
Ipswich 1, Blackpool 0 in the FA Cup as Exeter get things back underway with the goalkeeper Joe Whitworth. High over the halfway line it goes. Wareham rises to challenge, coming together in the air. Looks as though City wanted the free kick there, but the referee says nothing doing as Roderick collided with Whitworth. There's Exeter, I'm surprised really that they've not been as physical as you see some League One sides be in this one.
No, they haven't. I mean, I don't think they've got close enough to have a little stab at them. That's the beauty of Manchester City and the way they play. You know, when you do 1-2 touch play, it's very, very difficult to come in and just show your presence, which is what they're very, very good at. And now, yes, Kushinov went on a run, broke into their half, and the ball has come back, and Rico Lewis is back on it in his own half.
Yeah, back in the side this afternoon, Rico Lewis in the right back position as he just carries the ball more centrally towards the centre circle. There's no real urgency to press from.
GoDaddy has the perfect hosting plan for any website. From low-cost shared hosting to your own virtual server. Every plan comes with a 99.9% uptime guarantee, along with a free domain name and award-winning support. No wonder we're the world's number
takes over things before finding Reiners on the left side of the penalty area. Semenyo in support, finds him as well, looks for the give and go with Reiners, who just loses out in possession. The long ball down the right hand side. He's deflected out for an Exeter City throw in as they attack the goal to the left of us here. As they look to get things back underway, and it probably is Tiani Reiners who's the one in midfield who's probably struggled the most to get into this game as well, hasn't he?
Yes, as I said, Shirky's quite clever, and he's dropped deep to get it and just to get a few touches going. Reiners hasn't been able to do that. I would. It's a very lonely job up there with Haaland. Haaland's the only one that can kind of get away with that. Just standing up there, he'll wait and wait and wait, almost 8 or 9 minutes if he has to, before that ball gets in the back of the net. But on this occasion, as a midfielder, there's so many bodies, you sometimes have to look for it.
40 minutes on the clock here. Manchester City 2, Exeter City 0 on BBC Radio Manchester. We're also on 5 Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. We bring you commentary of every Manchester City game throughout the season. Also content coming your way on the BBC Sounds app. If you just head there, search for Manchester City, click subscribe, you'll get a notification when any new content is available. Semenyo in possession, left of the penalty area, brings it back on his left foot, looks for the byline, step over, crosses, Haaland's there, beaten to it by Fitzwater, turn behind, corner kick Manchester City.
Brilliant play. He's jinked past one with ease. Another one came in, he did a quick step over, knocked it on his left, and he's drilled it across the floor. I think you'll have to find on these last few that he's crossed, they've all been on the deck. So players will have to work out what he does best. So he hasn't kind of floated anything to the back stick. They've all been on the deck.
Corner comes in, centre of the area, deflects at him. Manchester City have a third, and that has come from absolutely nowhere. Ball lofted high into the 6-yard area. It was attempted to be cleared by Jack Fitzwater, headed it away, but took a deflection on its way in. Can't quite see who got the final touch there, but Manchester City 3 goals to the good now in this one. City 3, Exeter 0.
It just kind of came from nothing. I wouldn't even say the corner was that special of a ball in, but the ball got floated into the near post. I think the defender missed it. I think the keeper went and flapped at it. So the ball comes in. It comes into that near post. Just bodies around. I think the Exeter players have missed everything. Kushinov got bust. So the centre back in Jack Fitzwater's headed it, and it's hit Ake and gone into the back of the net. As simple as that.
Yes, Nathan Ake has been credited with the goal. I'm not too sure he'll ever score an easier one than that. It was headed against his calf and then just trickled over the goal line. He won't care, they all count. Rodgers was an absolute screamer. Ake's was a bit of a touch of fortune, but both of their names are on the score sheet as Manchester City lead 3-0 against Exeter here on BBC Radio Manchester. They've got us back underway, 42 and a half minutes on the clock. Also action in League One this afternoon, Bolton trailing Peterborough last we heard. Any sign of a response from the Wanderers, Jack Dearden?
No, another shot high over the crossbar, still 1-0 to Peterborough United. Really poor Bolton, caught out defensively. A great finish from Jimmy J. Morgan though, who fired it into the bottom corner. It's a different dimension this game for Bolton because Peterborough have dominated the possession. They've had twice as much of it as Bolton Wanderers, and here they come again. Now the home side fired a shot just over the bar. Not great this from the Wanderers at the moment. Still 1-0 Peterborough, and a change on the way for Bolton Wanderers. A double change before half-time. It's going to be made by the Wanderers head coach Stephen Schumacher. Dolby is one of the changes coming on. The other one will be Cyrus Christie.
We'll keep you updated with everything that goes on at London Road in that one. Bolton trailing on the road again as City have the possession here at the Etihad. Lead Exeter by 3-0. Ball in field from Kusanov. Not the best touch there from Rico Lewis. It just trickles over the line on this near side. Exeter have a throw in. That's the first time they've been in the City half of the field in quite some time. Briley takes a throw in, goes all the way back to his goalkeeper. So that territory didn't last long as they go along towards halfway. Kusanov challenges for possession on halfway. Appeals for handball as it appeared to bounce up off the thigh of Rico Lewis before striking his arm. So nothing doing in the eyes of the referee. Max Allain now in the possession. Just slows things down. Puts his studs on the ball before trying to feed it through the eye of the needle towards Shirky. He couldn't get on the end of it as Exeter break forward up the right hand side. Chance for them in the penalty area. Niskanen hits it and puts it past the post. What an opportunity that was for Exeter to get themselves on the score sheet. Direct ball down the right hand side. Niskanen on the end of it. Right footed. Beat Trafford but also beat the post. 3-0.
Yeah, again, it just amazes me how one ball can beat so many. It was the midfielder, actually. The midfielder just kind of knocked it round the corner on the floor. It was in between Allen and Ake, and he got in a better strike, and that's in the back of the net. But one ball shouldn't beat our back four like that, I have to say. He came on the blind side. Ake would just have to look, make sure where your player is every time.
Burton now 2-0 up against Boreham Wood, the non-league side, as Exeter come forward again. We've got 2 minutes of additional time here at the end of the first half at the Etihad Stadium. City leading Exeter by 3-0. There's also 2 minutes added on at London Road where Bolton Wanderers trail by 1-0 against Peterborough United. Burnley have added a third against Millwall in their third round tie. 3-0 the Clarets lead at Turf Moor. Exeter in the possession. BBC Radio Manchester and on BBC Sounds for all of your FA Cup action as Exeter come forward again into the penalty area off the right. Wareham's there, beaten to it by Kusanov, who just watches the ball slowly roll over the byline. James Trafford comes out to high five his centre half. Those two haven't had too many questions asked of them, the centre halves Allain and Kusanov, but when they have, they've just about come up with the answers.
Yeah, absolutely. That was brilliant from Kusanov. Had everything under control. The striker went through, he used his pace, he waited for him to come in, nudged him with his shoulder, he went flying onto his knees and he just let the ball run out of play. Brilliant, very casual, but he knew exactly what he was doing.
at BBC RM Sport on X to have your say. City fans, as you come forward again up the right, too much on that ball for Rangers to get onto the end of inside the penalty area. Exeter come away with it. If you're a Macclesfield fan as well, also give us a tweet. Let us know how you're celebrating after the most famous win in your club's history this afternoon, beating Crystal Palace by 2-1. We'll reflect on that one with Bill Rice at half-time. As City win the ball back high up the field for a moment before it's regathered by Aitchison. The Exeter striker forced into the left-back position. City win it back. Reinders across goal and in. It's 4, and it's oh so simple for Manchester City. They win the ball back high up the field. Reinders free in the penalty area, crosses it in. It's an own goal in the end, I believe, that comes off Luca Woodhouse. City have a 4th, Manchester City 4, Exeter City 0.
It was good play again. Mikado on the right-hand side, very tricky when he gets on the ball. He cut inside, and there was an underlap run there from Reinders. They played the ball into him. He's crossed right across the ball with so much pace, and that's taken a ricochet and gone in. But yeah, very good from Mikado. Played it in. There was an underlap run. Reinders played it across. Just go with pace, hit it into an area, and it was a defender that couldn't sort his feet out. It was an own goal.
Yeah, it was Jack Fitzwater in the end who it eventually came off, but just shows, Jim Whitley, if you get in those positions and put the ball there, it can go anywhere.
Absolutely. Semenyu's doing the same on the other side. You just get into an area when you're a defender running the other way and things happen. It's so difficult to move your feet when it comes in at such pace, and so often I remember Manchester City from way back would get into that area and just pummel any team with those balls, hit them so hard. Walker used to do it, we'd drive it so hard across that 6-yard box. Very difficult to defend against.
Went off. Lots of work to do for Wanderers in the second half, trailing 1-0.
So Bolton trailing at the break. No such dramas for Manchester City on a day that Macclesfield have executed the biggest upset in FA Cup history, aside from the 6th tier, knocking out the holders 2-1 at the Moss Rose this afternoon. More reaction to that to come on BBC Radio Manchester. We said, could there be another shock on the cards here at the Etihad this afternoon as League One Exeter City visit Manchester City. Pep Guardiola, though, taking no chances with his team selection, extremely strong. The likes of Rodri and Erling Haaland starting, and Jim Whitley, it has paid off in spades. They lead 4-0 at the break, and you have to say they have been utterly ruthless pretty much from the start.
They have. They've kept the ball. They've looked after it. They've made 1-2 touches, little passes into midfield. They've been bold in playing with just 2 at the back and allowing the fullbacks to push on, with Rico going as that inverted midfielder. And they've been absolutely brilliant, and it's gone to plan, which gives Pep and the team the chance, I suppose, to rest players should he need to. Now he's got that buffer. I wouldn't think the likes of Exeter are going to bang in 4 goals right now, but it just gives them options, move the team around and rest players if needed. But the likes of Semenyo and Mikado on both wings have both done their jobs and been dangerous out wide. Same again in the second half.
Well, that said, I mean, you know, City, there's no way City are not going through from here. I'm sure they can make as many changes as they like at half-time. Unless they bring on an ineligible player and somehow get knocked out, they are in the 4th round of the FA Cup. However, Exeter gave it a go from the start, and you know, we must remember, really important save actually early on from James Trafford when he palmed one over the bar from a set piece, because if that goes in, it's a very different afternoon.
Absolutely. You just get a little bit more nervy. You then start to wonder what the afternoon's going to be like, especially off the back of the last 3 games where they haven't got the points that they needed or the wins. So that would always come to the back of your head. So to go 4 goals up, it's actually quite nice. As defenders, and I've said this before, they'll want to keep a clean sheet, regardless of who's playing at the back. The goalkeeper Trafford, he wants to come in and have a clean sheet. So that's something that will work on. And for me, as a player, a clean sheet means a lot, actually.
Yeah, and it will mean a lot to James Trafford as well. So his save kept it at 0-0, and from there City really didn't look back, responded so well. And a first goal for Manchester City for Max Allain as well opened the scoring. Maybe not quite how he dreamt it, Jim, in the way it went in, but nevertheless they all count. He's on target. He's got a Manchester City goal to his name.
Absolutely. When you're reading the results and you see a name there, it doesn't say it just crept over the line, and I understand them. A goal's a goal. He'll be delighted, to come back from his loan move and be now playing with Manchester City. And he's looked very, 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 very calm at the back, I have to say. Fits in the mould of Manchester City, passing the ball about at the back, and he's done well. He'll grow in stature. He'll be able to start shouting at the players if he needs to, because it's very difficult as a youngster to come in and start ordering people about, moving Rodri around if he needs to. Very, very difficult, but it's a big learning curve for him, and he's done very well.
So City lead 4-0 at the break. Are you expecting changes from them to rest 1 or 2 with Newcastle on Tuesday in mind, or perhaps are you even, from an Exeter perspective, thinking of changes? Because they'll be well aware Salford conceded 8 here at this stage last season. They won't want the same sort of thing to happen to them.
Well, you can look at 2 sides of that. We're already 4-0 down. Let's change formation. Should we push 4 or 5 up front and change it for Manchester City, bearing in mind they might get hit on the break and concede more? But they're already going out as it happens. Why not try and get a goal against Manchester City? Could be the way they're thinking as an Exeter manager. However, Manchester City, will there be change at half-time? I don't think there ever is a change at half-time. I'm not sure with that, but I think there'll be changes definitely later on down the line. If you don't see subs today, there's something wrong.
Right, Jim Whitley, you'll be back with us for the second half. Manchester City leading Exeter by 4-0 in the FA Cup. You're listening to BBC Radio Manchester live from the Etihad Stadium. We're also on BBC Sounds and on 5 Sports Extra this afternoon. Let's get back to London Road and speak to Jack Dearden, if we can, about Bolton trailing 1-0 at the break. Jack, they made changes, 3 of them before this game. On the evidence of the match so far, how's that working out for Steven Schumacher?
Well, not very well at the moment, Bill. One of those 3 changes was taken off, of course, just before half-time as well. That was Thierry Gale. Josh Sheehan as well taken off. This was just literally a couple of minutes before the referee blew the half-time whistle. It's very, very unusual time in any game to make those sort of changes, so I think that might be a little bit of an admission, Bill, that those changes haven't worked. The other ones, Conway, not quite done as well, but to be fair, I mean, he's done brilliant this season. I think Max Conway, he's had made an outstanding contribution, but in the last couple of weeks he was left out as well, of course, whether that was for rest or selection purposes. He hasn't quite looked as well, but they're just totally disjointed at the moment, Bill, and Gale should, for me, have taken one of 2 real decent opportunities very early on. You'll have heard Steven Schumacher on BBC Radio Manchester talk about the opportunities where they need to score from. Well, he had 2 very similar. Ball cut back into the penalty area on both occasions. Very, very wasteful. There's so much room for improvement in all departments. There's no doubt at all about that. And there was sloppy defensively at the back, punished on 34 minutes. It's a good finish from JJ Morgan, but I think Tyler Miller might not be too pleased with the part he played in the goal. He seemed to go under his body and just nestled in the far corner. It's certainly not good enough.
Yeah, and Bolton's woes in front of goal continue. Thank you, Jack. Regular reports to come on Peterborough against Bolton from the second half in League One this afternoon. Elsewhere in the FA Cup, we know City leading Exeter by 4-0 at the break here. Burton 2-0 up away at Boreham Wood. Burnley lead Millwall by 3-0. Southampton 3-0 up away at Doncaster. Fulham trail at home to Championship Middlesbrough. Ipswich lead Blackpool by 1-0. It's goalless between Newcastle and Bournemouth. Sheffield Wednesday trail at home to Premier League Brentford by 1-0, and it is goalless between Stoke and Coventry. In the early games, the big story of the day, Macclesfield Town of the 6th tier, the biggest upset in FA Cup history. They knocked out the holders Crystal Palace, beating them by 2-1 at the Moss Rose. More on that game to come shortly. Leicester are through. They won 2-0 at Cheltenham. Sunderland beat Everton on penalties after a 1-1 draw after extra time at Hill Dickinson. And Wolves put 6 past Shrewsbury in a 6-1 victory at Molineux. In the Women's Super League, finished goalless between United and Arsenal. A point then for Mark Skinner's side, who were down to 10. And as we've heard from Jack, Bolton trailing Peterborough by 1-0 at half-time in League One.
When I first met Dave, we were inseparable. I loved the way he talked to me. He made me feel so special. But now, I think he spends more time on his phone.
Hey, smart speaker.
Hold on, did he just...
Love on Cheeto. Hot pepper sauce. Serve your every meal.
Dave, I knew you still loved me. Playing BBC Radio Manchester.
Thank you for listening to BBC Radio Manchester on your smart speaker. Good to have you with us.
Just say, play BBC Radio Manchester.
Total Sport.
BBC Radio Manchester.
Bill Rice live at the Etihad Stadium this afternoon, where Manchester City lead Exeter of League One by 4-0 at the break. The Blues are well on their way to booking their place in the 4th round draw. Wigan Athletic already there. They beat Preston last night by 1-0. And non-league Macclesfield Town will be in the 4th round draw too after a magical day at the Moss Rose. They have made a little bit of FA Cup history, producing one of the greatest shocks in the competition's long, illustrious years, with a stunning performance, knocking out the holders Crystal Palace. The Silkmen beating the Eagles 2-1, 117 places below the Premier League side, but this is how they did it.
It is Macclesfield FC against Crystal Palace. The 3rd round is underway of the FA Cup.
I wanted to go and play with freedom because, listen, they've got nothing to lose. They've done absolutely unbelievable to get to this stage of the competition, so just go and express themselves and enjoy the occasion.
Duffy clips the ball into the box, heads go up, Dawson gets it, and Dawson nods it into the bottom right-hand corner. Macclesfield FC captain Paul Dawson has given the Silkmen the lead against the FA Cup holders. There is the half-time whistle, and it sounds almost like the full-time whistle. Listen to those cheers. Macclesfield FC 1, Crystal Palace 0 at half-time.
No matter what you do in life, you want to do something to make yourself proud and, look at the players, what an opportunity they've got to go and perform in front of millions of people.
Oh, defensive! Oh my goodness me! Buckley Ricketts has sent Macclesfield FC 2-0 up against the FA Cup holders. Scenes of absolute delirium at Moss Rose. Macclesfield FC 2, Crystal Palace 0. Hard-on effort from Wharton. Oh, that's the first great save by Max Durnley. It was Wharton who fired it first time left-footed, and it needed a smart save from the Macclesfield goalkeeper. Pino strokes it. Oh, he scores, does Jeremy Pino. There's finally some class from Crystal Palace. It's a clip free kick into the top right-hand corner of the goal. But Palace have only got a minute left of this one. Macclesfield FC 2, Crystal Palace 1. And the referee blows the whistle. Scenes of utter jubilation here at Moss Rose as the fans stream onto the pitch, celebrating with their heroes on a day that Macclesfield FC will never, ever forget. They have knocked out the holders of the FA Cup, Crystal Palace, who won.
What a sensational day at the Moss Rose. Congratulations to everyone at Macclesfield Town, including owner Rob Smethurst and the boss John Rooney. In fact, let's hear from him. He was almost lost for words after a remarkable day.
It's incredible. It still doesn't feel real. Obviously, before the game, we were talking about, with a bit of hope and listening to the FA Cup, but did they really believe it? No, probably not. But when we went 1-0 up, I was like, they're going to come on top now. But I thought the lads, I didn't think, obviously we won the game, but I thought we were well-deserved winners as well. I thought we were outstanding.
I've spoken to both of your goal scorers, and clearly the momentum of the game was shifted by the timing of both of those goals. But I think particularly the goal from Paul Dawson really gave you hope. And I just wonder, from a coach's perspective, just before half-time, how important was that for you?
No, it's, you take scoring a goal against the Premier League side, but to score just before half-time and then to get the lads in, see the next 5 minutes out and then get them in, and just to tell them about the second half, how can we slow the game down, how can we manage the game, how can we take the sting out of it if they have a spell. And they carried it out, every one of them to a man. The subs that come on, outstanding, and as I touch on, I couldn't be any prouder, and it's still surreal to me. It's wow, can't believe it.
And these players are here because they're good footballers, they have ability, but was there any question in your mind they had the character to get over the line today, having taken the lead?
It's hard because you're up against the Premier League side, so whether they've got character or not, but I thought they showed the character in abundance. They showed a real grit about them, winning the second duels, winning the individual battles, 2 centre-halves were solid as a rockhead and everything. I thought we were outstanding, so if anyone questions their lad's character in there after seeing that today, wow.
That's the Macclesfield boss, John Rooney. Congratulations to him and all at Macclesfield Town after a sensational FA Cup win over the holders, Crystal Palace. They are into Monday's 4th round draw. If you haven't seen any of the action from Macclesfield's game already, make sure you have a look on social media at BBC RM Sport, where you'll find reaction and highlights. And there are highlights of all today's FA Cup action on Match of the Day on BBC One at 10:40 this evening. The Exeter players out for the second half here at the Etihad Stadium with work to do, but if we're honest, with 45 minutes to survive without conceding too many more goals is probably a more accurate way to describe it. They trail Manchester City by 4-0 at the break. The former Bolton Wanderers striker Josh McGuinness has been warming up during the half-time interval and is waiting on the sideline to come on for the second 45 minutes. So as the City players emerge from the tunnel and Oasis players from the PA system, we rejoin your commentary team on Total Sport of the former City man Jim Whitley and this man Josh Watt.
Thank you, Bill. Thankless task. I think this is a definition for Josh McGuinness as he's stripped and ready to come on this near side for the second 45 minutes. It's 45 minutes at the travelling 7,500 Exeter fans may want to be over as quick as possible. Their side have been up against it here against Manchester City, who've been professional, in top form as ever, and lead by 4-0 as we approach the start of the second half. It does look as though that Pep Guardiola is going to make a change as well, with Nico O'Reilly ready to come on this near side. McGuinness takes his place on the field in place of Jayden Wareham. Just waiting to see which number goes up in the colours of Manchester City as I start counting the number of sky blue shirts on the pitch. It also looks as though that Stefan Mfunny is going to be introduced alongside Divine Musaka as well for the final 45 minutes. Rodri is the first to make way, scoring his first goal since that time when they won the Premier League here against West Ham on the last day of the season. Erling Haaland is also replaced. Coming on in his place is Divine Musaka, and the final Manchester City player to depart at the beginning of the second half is Nathan Ake, as rumours continue to swirl around his future. So triple substitution from Pep Guardiola at the break. Jim Whitley alongside myself, Josh Watson on BBC Radio Manchester. And I'm guessing when you 4-0 up, it does give yourself the freedom to make such changes.
Oh, absolutely. It's gone to the game plan. He can rest players that are needed. I wasn't sure what he was going to do at half-time. I think you'd definitely see it later on. But he has done it at half-time. Has brought some fresh legs on Rodri in particular. Look after him, wrap him up as much as you can. Same as Haaland. They all deserve a rest. And let's just see how the youngsters come in and do.
City in the possession. It is Mfunny in the left-back position. He just puts his left boot on the ball before dribbling it more centrally, squares it across towards the lane. He looks to get his side on the front foot at the beginning of the second half. 4-0 the score on BBC Radio Manchester. Josh Watson and Jim Whitley with you, also on 5 Sports Extra and via the BBC Sounds app. On the left-hand side, Funny has it into the penalty area. His cross goes, takes a deflection on its way in before Exeter try clear it up towards the halfway line. Not the best clearance, however. A late challenge comes in from Funny, so the free kick goes away of the away side.
Just looking at how they're shaped up here, Funny has gone as left back. Max Allen
Oakes collects, he's bundled over and wins a free kick. It was McCady who was just too keen in his challenge there on 10 yards or so away from the halfway line. Just looking at the talent that has come through this Manchester City Academy over the last few years. Misaka, 18 years of old on the field. McCady started, he's only 17. Stefan Funny only 17 as well, along with other academy graduates introduced in the shape of Nico O'Reilly, Rico Lewis starting from the off as well. James Trafford in goal. The production line of Manchester City just keeps on giving. James Trafford has a possession on the edge of his own 18-yard box.
It's good play. There's a lot of youngsters in, and you've got the likes of Haaland and Rodri in the dressing room with them to build on and for them to look up to. But they're pressing quite high at the moment. Exeter, they've gone quite high. Can definitely see the press here with Semenyo on the ball. But they went almost man for man. They've now retreated, but it was very, very much like, let's go and try and win it high. That's the only way they're going to try and score a goal, to be honest with you, because they're not going to pass it out from the back. But try and win it high. Something Manchester City are very good at doing, Josh, is winning the ball up. As soon as they lose the ball, they try and get it back quickly to gain possession and move the ball.
City in the possession on the halfway line. 4-0 the score, 48 minutes played on BBC Radio Manchester. Right hand side, City have it. McCady with the step overs, cuts in field as his bright orange boots illuminate the right wing from the Man City attack. Out towards Semenyo, who looks for the 1-2, gets a return as well, left of the penalty area, left footed ball into the box, and it's turned in. That is 5, and it is all so easy for Manchester City now. What a brilliant goal it was though. Semenyo's ball across. Lewis looks in a little bit of discomfort as he wheels away in celebration, but Manchester City showing their class in this one. City 5, Exeter 0.
Again, nothing special. It was magnificent. Mafini played the ball out wide to Semenyo. Semenyo's played it one touch around the corner with his right foot for a 1-2 with, I think it was Shirky, played it into his path. I don't even think he had another touch. He just played it left-footed into an area where Rico Lewis came in to shoot. And this is where you have to learn about the players and see what they do. And on each occasion, he's never played it to the back stick. He's always played it to the near. That's where Rico went. And he's got a ball in. It was Reinders, I think, that he ended up getting a 1-2 with. All one-touch stuff from Semenyo, and this is brilliant. When you see kids talking about how he's going to come in and dribble past everyone, that was all one-touch, round the corner, get it back, put the ball into an area. Fantastic play by Semenyo.
A word on the ball into the 6-yard box as well from Antoine Semenyo, because it doesn't matter who your opposition is, everyone's going to struggle to defend that, aren't they?
Absolutely, with pace, just an area, all one touch. So with all the dribbling skills, it's just having a know-how of how to play the game, and he was fantastic in that occasion.
Exeter looking to break forward, right-hand side, rare chance for them to attack. Niskanen in, left-footed ball towards the far side of the penalty area. There's a shot into the side netting. Well, it's the first bit of excitement that the travelling supporters have had in quite some time in this one. It's been one-way stuff, but a crisp attack up the right, diagonal ball towards the left-hand side of the penalty area. Aitchison fires into the side netting. Remains City 5, Exeter 0.
Yeah, City fell asleep just for a moment there with the back four. They let Atkinson was there. Atkinson at the back stick. He chested it down and managed to have a clean strike. He should have gone across the goal. He went to the near post and into the side netting. He'll be a little bit disappointed with that, I have to say, because it was a good opportunity just at least to get a save and someone to follow it in. When you hit the ball like that and it just hits the side net, it's a bit of a letdown.
5-0 the score with 40 minutes still to play here at the Etihad Stadium as well. Exeter City have never lost a game by more than 7 goals. That's happened on 2 occasions. Aston Villa beat them 8-1 in 1985. Bolton Wanderers beaten them in 2023 by 7 goals to 0. There's been a goal at London Road though. Bolton, Peterborough, Jack Dearden.
Long way back now for Wanderers. Second goal for Peterborough United. Matt Garbett, lovely finish. Cushioned side foot shot. Placed it into the bottom corner. And they've come out in this second half. Peterborough threatening now for Bolton to solve. They're trailing 2-0 at Peterborough.
Newcastle lead Bournemouth by a goal to 0 in the FA Cup third round. Work to do for Bolton Wanderers, then their torrid away form set to continue. This is the first of 3 away games in a row in League One for the Wanderers as well. So Bolton fans, you can have your say between 5 and 6 tonight. 0800 218 2255, the number to call. The City goalkeeper Whitworth comes and collects and looks to get his side back on the front foot. They're up. As they look to advance up the right. It's Niskanen who's probably looked the more lively player in Exeter colours in this one, looking to get on the end of a throw-in. But the outstretched left leg of the substitute Stefan M. Funny. On debut for Manchester City off the bench at half-time, does well just to relieve the pressure. City have the ball back. And again, we're just seeing the game sort of continue in the same pattern than it has done right from the off. City 5 goals to the good. They have the possession with O'Reilly on the edge of his own penalty area.
Rafinha, I have to say, has been brilliant with Semenyo. Some lovely 1-2 touch stuff with the two of them. It's been quite exquisite. Some of the 1 and 2 touch passing, as we listened to the other game, was wonderful to watch. Shirky dropping in, playing balls, little dummies. Nico's been going in there to get the ball. The passing has been wonderful in those. Shirky's orchestrating it in there. He's almost like the holding midfielder. He's not, but he is moving the ball around. Little dinks around the place. Oh, he's played a fantastic ball in Semenyo.
Here comes Semenyo into the penalty area looking for a debut goal, and he finds it through the legs of Whitworth. Antoine Semenyo, right-footed, cool as you like. Welcome to Manchester City. Antoine Semenyo, Man City 6, Exeter City 0.
That's brilliant. We just talked about Shirky just getting on the ball, moving it. He twisted and turned around the defender. On this occasion, Semenyo just went on the inside of the defender rather than staying out wide. He's cut inside. The ball's played in behind the defender. He's had one touch, I think, opened his body out and played it in actually through the legs of the keeper. So Semenyo got the ball. It was two men round, little Cruyff turn, played it in. Semenyo's made the run. He's onside, played it in, and he's had one touch, two touches, opened the ball, opened his body out and played it in. Again, nothing special. He's not dribbled past anyone, and as kids are watching, you know, this is wonderful stuff.
Niskanen gets on the end of it, right hand side, clips it goalwards as Mfunny looks to try shield it out for a goal kick. It takes a deflection and it will be a corner kick to Exeter City, and a first chance in quite some time for them to create some pressure on this Manchester City goal.
Yeah, has they managed to get them and turn them quite quickly. Lefino had the chance to try and clear it but couldn't quite stop the ball from going over the line, as Exeter now turn up to try and see if they can get something back from the 6 goals that they conceded right now. I think they'd love a goal, I'll be honest with you. If I was a player, I would. It's very difficult against Manchester City right now.
Ethan Briley towards the far post. It goes over the top of everyone. Will be collected by Mendes Gomez by the corner flag. He is forced to retreat back to his own halfway line where he gives away the possession, and here's Semenyo, can set McKay free. He wants to do so, opts not to, instead switches it out towards the left hand side where it's collected by City once again as Exeter flood back towards the edge of their own penalty area. Masako is on the end of that ball across. Exeter do well to regroup, but now it's City applying the pressure once more. Mfunny has it, options in front of him, just plays it back up towards Reiners, who looks for the give and go with O'Reilly, but he instead plays it back out towards Mfunny. Looks for options in the middle. There's sort of a gap in the penalty area that you'd usually see Erling Haaland occupy. He was substituted off at half time as the ball makes its way now across towards Kusanov in the right back position for Manchester City. Finds Lewis, plays it into O'Reilly as those two just exchange 4 or 5 passes inside the Exeter half as they look to just continue to toy with the League One side's defence. 6-0 the score with 61 minutes on the clock. We'll be back to London Road shortly where Bolton Wanderers trail by 2-0 against Peterborough. Earlier today, Macclesfield beating Crystal Palace by 2-1 and one of the greatest.
If you walked into a company and asked where their IP assets are stored, no one could point to a shelf or cabinet. These invisible resources don't look like assets, yet they control your entire digital footprint. Maybe that's why they're overlooked. But invisibility doesn't mean insignificance.
Okay, and Bernardo Silva both ready to come on. Interestingly, Mateus seemed as though he was ready to come on just moments ago. They've opted not to make that switch, and instead it's going to be Bernardo who's introduced for the final half an hour or so of this one. But City on the front foot still. Shirky out towards the right hand side. McKay looks for the give and go option with Masaka, who has his back towards the penalty area, forced to just play it into the feet of Shirky again as Exeter have everybody bar McGuinness behind the ball defensively. Out towards the left hand side they have it now. Mfunny, Semenyo in support into the penalty area on the left, cuts it back. chance to shoot. They do, it deflects and it just goes past the post. Corner kick given to Manchester City. Relentless pressure here for the home side, and now the ball trickles over the line. Will that give them the chance to make this double switch? Right hand side of the penalty area, this corner kick will be taken, and it does look as though Pep Lijnders has given the instruction to the fourth official that City want to make this swap. There's been a goal at London Road. Jack Dearden.
From absolutely nowhere, Wanderers have given themselves a fighting chance. They trail by 2 goals to 1, but a classic delivery from Conway down the left-hand side into the penalty area and converted. Great side-foot finish from the Wanderers striker, one of several changes made in the second half. Dolby has given Wanderers a lifeline. Peterborough 2, Wanderers 1.
So some hope for Bolton Wanderers there, little hope for Exeter City here as Manchester City showing their class. 6 goals to the good. There's a double substitution which sees Antoine Semenyo, a goal-scoring debut from him. He makes his way towards the sidelines, as does Max Allain, who opened the scoring for Manchester City this afternoon. Jeremy Doku and Bernardo Silva introduced for the final 27 minutes of this one. Manchester City corner, 6-0 they lead, both arms raised from McAdoo, the corner taker. Goes low towards the right of the penalty area. Shirky returns it towards McAdoo. Can he shoot? Forced to lay it off instead towards Lewis. City player down inside the penalty area, but the Sky Blues play on. Step overs from Silva into the penalty area. Cuts back, 6-yard box, cleared away by Exeter before being volleyed up towards the halfway line. And another goal at London Road, Jack Dearden.
And this could finally see off the challenge of Bolton Wanderers. Lisby fired it in at the near post. She might have taken a touch off the inside of the upright, but just as Wanderers had given themselves a lifeline with the very next attack deep inside the penalty area, Peterborough scored a 3rd goal. Awful. Peterborough 3, Wanderers 1.
Brentford 2-0 up against Sheffield Wednesday. Burnley 4-0 up against Millwall. Both of those FA Cup 3rd round ties. Bolton fans, if you want to get in touch and discuss where does your season go from here, 0800 218 2255 is number to call. We're with you till 6 here at the Etihad Stadium, where City lead Exeter by 6 goals to 0. They're looking for more on the left of the penalty area. Doku on off the bench. Bit of a twist towards the byline. Cuts it back, deflects off Niskanen. Corner kick to Manchester City.
I was going to say, Josh, I mean, it'd be Exeter players will be ecstatic that they brought on 2 really, really poor players in Silva and Doku. I mean, that's incredible for them to come on. Scary, you know. Semeni comes and Doku's there. I mean, that's just awful as an Exeter player to think, oh, can't even have a rest. That's the strength in depth. They'll be there just to add to the youngsters that are on the pitch right now.
Corner kick to City. Taken low, right-footed towards the edge of the area. Lewis has it, plays it back towards Shirky, who clips it towards the far side of the 6-yard area. Flicked on in there by Musaka. Just can't angle it goalwards. Goes out for a goal kick. There's Divine Musaka. That's probably his first chance to really create anything in front of goal. He's taken up that role which has been vacated by Erling Haaland at half-time. It's not an easy one to fulfil, is it? But it looks as though he's out to prove a point.
It's very, very difficult. I think playing up front for Manchester City is a thankless task. The way Manchester City knock it around, it rarely comes through the centre back, the striker, because there's so many bodies in there. It's almost impossible. So you just have to wait your turn, which is why Shirky a lot of the time drops in deep, because he knows it's very difficult to get in those holes. Very, very difficult. And as they set up right now, Manchester City, Nico Riley's gone to left back, with Mafinha gone in as the other centre half with Kushinov, and on the right hand side, yes, in playing still as an inverted play, but it's as is with Manchester City. Keep probing, keep pushing, winning the ball up high, and you'll get results.
Bournemouth now lead Newcastle United by 2-1 in that FA Cup clash, an All Premier League tie. I think it's been named the Eddie Howe Derby, as his former side currently looking to get one over on him and join Manchester City in the fourth round of the FA Cup. Macclesfield also there after stunning Crystal Palace earlier today. City here probing for more. Doku on the left into the penalty area, looks to be cleared away by Exeter, edge of the box, chance to shoot, cuts back, Lewis puts it just past the post. Another opening there for City on the edge of the penalty area. Fell kindly for Rico Lewis, whose right-footed drive just flashes the wrong side of the upright from his point of view, and it remains after 67 minutes, Manchester City 6, Exeter City 0.
Yeah, Doku went on a run. They couldn't quite beat his man. The defender cleared it. It came out to Silva. He shaped as if he was going to hit it. Played a little pass round the corner to Lewis. He had one touch, give the keeper the eyes, and tried to place it in the other corner, and it didn't quite work for him, but very good play from Lewis, I have to say.
City win the possession back. Doku rather dramatically half volleys the ball all the way back towards James Trafford on the edge of his 6-yard area. Rare touch for him in the second half of this one. Just plays it out towards Bernardo, who carries it up towards the centre circle. Right hand side, ball almost goes astray there as Kusanov has to be on his toes to collect before Mendes Gomez
almost there, wasn't he? He almost gave the ball away really easy, but he's gone into that holding role with Shirky, I think, just kind of lurking around the area. So it's slightly different in that kind of pivot role. Various players going in there. Nick O'Reilly's just gone into there at the moment, so all taking turns.
As Mendes Gomez comes forward for Exeter. Lofted ball out towards the left-hand side, collecting by Higgins. He's just put under some pressure by Kusanov, gives away the free kick, and a chance here for Exeter City to swing the free kick into the penalty area from the left touchline.
Kushner was after him. His pace, when he was too quick in the end and ended up running into him, pushing him over. But if he'd have waited just a moment longer, he was going to win the ball all day long. Very, very quick in reading the game. And something, again, as we've talked about, Manchester City winning the ball back as quick as you can when you lose possession.
Jim Whitley alongside myself, Josh Watson, BBC Radio Manchester, and available on BBC Sounds as our every FA Cup game from now onwards. As a ball from Exeter comes into the penalty area, there's a free header in there. Fitzwater didn't seem to anticipate it coming, meets it with the head, but just puts it well wide past the post. That was a real chance there for Exeter City. Goes wide, remains 6-0 to Man City.
Oh, unbelievable. Great ball in. He's had a free header. He's gone in between two players. I don't think he realised how free a header it was. I think he almost closed his eyes. I'm not sure if he thought it was going to hit his shoulder, but he actually got ahead to it, put it wide. He'll be disappointed with that.
Now it's City who have a free kick on the left, taken quickly by Bernardo, just to roll it into the path of Ryan Shirky. City just begin to press and probe again. We'll be bringing you reaction to this game between 5 and 6. You can also get all of the reaction and latest news on your club over on BBC Sounds. Just search for your team. So if you're a Manchester City fan listening along, search for Manchester City, click subscribe, and you'll be notified when any new content is available. As Bernardo collects the ball shy of the halfway line, rolls it into the feet of O'Reilly, who carries it laterally before feeding it towards Kusanov. Shirky this time has made his way out towards the right hand side of the field to get involved, collecting. He and Kusanov just exchange a couple of passes between each other. It is resembling something of a training ground exercise here for Manchester City now as they advance towards the penalty area again. Reinders with the 1-2 on his right foot, no space for him to shoot, but lays it off to Bernardo Silva, finds Doku on off the bench, brings it onto his right foot, just looks for an opening, instead lays it off to Reinders. 7-0 to Manchester City. Brilliant finish from Tiani Reinders. Doku lays it off to him, one touch to set himself, the second to bend it into the far corner. Manchester City are running riot in the third round of the FA Cup. City 7, Exeter 0.
That was excellent play with Manchester City. Shirky pulling the strings in there, little 1-2s right all around the pitch. Eventually the ball came out to Doku, who taunted 3 or 4 players in the box. He's played it back out to Silva. Silva's played it across to Reinders, and it's Reinders who is a beautiful technician, I have to say, in striking the ball. And he hit that with his right foot, side foot, with a little bit of bend, and it's gone into that right hand side. Missed out all the players. Wonderful strike, I have to say, but gives someone with that quality that much time, and that's the end product.
This has been professional, composed, and quite frankly brilliant from Manchester City, showing all of their class. Exeter haven't really laid a glove on them this afternoon. 7-0 the scorers. The score is with 7 different goal scorers as well. An impressive afternoon for Pep Guardiola's side. Granted, one of those was an own goal from Fitzwater just before half-time, but City really found their mojo this afternoon in the FA Cup.
Absolutely. I think it's the chances they've had in the last 3 games, they haven't quite made it into the back of the net. They're making up for it this afternoon. I have to say, almost every chance has gone in. It's wonderful to see from Manchester City.
Mendes Gomez from distance over the crossbar. It was ambitious. It'd have taken something special to beat James Trafford from there. Right-footed strike, just gets under the ball, puts it into the stand behind the goals. Gius from the City support remains 7-0.
Yeah, he's tried it. Why not? They're losing 7-0 at the moment. Why not have a shot? He'll be kicking himself for not hitting the target, I have to say, because that's what you have to do. Try and make the keeper work and try and keep the game going. Very difficult now for Exeter. Heads are down. They know they can't get anywhere near it. They've tried all kinds of things. It's too much quality and too much work rate from Manchester City. You talked about being professional, Josh. This is being professional. No one's doing anything special. They're still moving it, doing 1-2 stuff, moving into space, trying to win the ball back when they lose possession. And it's been absolutely brilliant to watch.
7-0 the score, BBC Radio Manchester. 73 minutes on the clock here at the Etihad. Bolton have a slightly smaller hill to climb. They trail at London Road against Peterborough. Watching this one, Jack Dearden.
At the moment, Josh, it looks like it might well be 7 as well here, because they're not making a great deal of headway. All 5 substitutes have now been used as well by the head coach Stephen Schumacher. Wanderers did have an opportunity to get it back to 3-2 as Peterborough clear another raid down the right hand side. But an unbelievable miss, 1-on-1 from Burstow, rolled it past the far post. That would have given them hope had it gone in, as it should have gone in. It didn't. It was wide of the far post. Bolton better in the second half, in fairness, but trailing by 3-1.
Thanks, Jack. We'll keep you updated with the closing stages of that one. Hopefully it isn't 7 for Bolton, as their tough run on the road continues in League One. This result, again, not what Stephen Schumacher's side would want. Exeter with a rare attack. They just roll it up towards the halfway line, and Gary Caldwell's side came into this one in decent form. It seemed as though they turned a corner in the league. They're unbeaten in 3, winning 2 and drawing the last one against promotion contenders Huddersfield. In fact, they've only lost 1 in their last 6 games in all competitions, but they've been really caught out by a Manchester City masterclass this afternoon at the Etihad Stadium as we approach 75 minutes on the clock here. 7-0 the scoreline, but Exeter with a free kick and another chance here to make something work inside the penalty area.
Yeah, just they've all set up at the back. All the defenders are back here, trying to keep a clean sheet. As we said, Trafford would love a clean sheet. It's great getting the goals. The ball comes in.
Yeah, at the far post, headed back in towards the penalty area. City struggling to clear the lines here. He lands on the edge of the D before a right-footed half volley away from Lewis, as there's a City player left in the penalty area, just looking as though he's in a bit of discomfort. The referee calls the physios on from the touchline. They're a little bit late to react.
I think it was
the City
Moutinho
players
actually that went into the back of into the back of him, and he's hurt his head, which is why they've stopped the game. But I think it was just a clash of heads from his own player, as Maffini is holding his head right now as well, actually.
As we have a break in play, the Exeter players just come across towards the dugout in front of us to take on some refreshments here. Gary Caldwell just issuing a few instructions to his side. Of course, won the FA Cup with Wigan Athletic back in 2013 against Manchester City. His side haven't seen the same fortunes this afternoon. 7-0 the score. City with a masterclass, and there's always a lot of talk. We spoke about the young players at the start of the half that and it's fair to say that they are taking them, aren't they?
Absolutely. And as a youngster, when you come into a side, with the experience I've had now, you don't want to come in with a load of other youngsters, because there's no one there to lead. So when you come into a side with so much experience in there, the Ballon d'Or winner there, with Haaland as well, and everyone else within that structure, you learn very quickly, and you listen to what instructions being given. Also, you've got a manager like Pep who tells you exactly what to do. But they've come into the right environment. It's a good team to play against. It's not a Premiership team that they may struggle against. So everything is set up for them. But then, as a player, you have to take your chance. And I'd have to say they've all done excellently this afternoon. Done what's needed. Been very professional, as you talked about before, Josh. Taken on instruction. Won the ball back. One thing as a youngster, you have to have the work rate playing for Manchester City, and these youngsters here have definitely shown that. There's still a lot to learn as they come face against bigger, better opponents. But right now, they've done everything that's needed. And as the scoreline shows, and it's not all Haaland that scored all of them, which is, again, something different. To see other players on the score sheet is magnificent, and I'd like to see that more in the league, if I'm honest with you, Josh.
And Funny has the ball and carries it up towards the halfway line. Fulham have come from behind at Craven Cottage to lead Middlesbrough 2-1 in their FA Cup third round tie. Bit of a thriller as well in South Yorkshire as Doncaster now trail Southampton by 3-2. And Funny darts down the centre of the field, plays it out towards the right. City on the move again. McAdoo, edge of the area, looks to bring it back on his left foot, takes deflection, corner kick to Manchester City, and McAdoo again causing problems on that far side.
Maffini is not scared to drive into space, I have to say. He looks very composed in the ball for such a youngster coming into the side, but very, very confident and looking to bring other players into play.
Into the penalty area, headed goalwards, and it creeps in off the post. Nico O'Reilly gets in on the act this time. A deft header curls and clips the post on its way in. Another goal for Manchester City, another goal they deserve, and another different goal scorer this afternoon. Manchester City 8, Exeter City 0.
That was a very, very difficult header, I have to say. He was running towards his own goal in the 18-yard box of the opposition, and he's managed to turn a ball that was coming in. Very, very difficult. Yes, he was running away from goal, and he's had to put, so much power and effort into it. I don't quite know how he's got so much power into that header, I'll be honest with you. But that's the 6'5" odd frame of him that's done that. A brilliant header from O'Reilly, and something I'd probably like to see from him and Haaland, more headers. That was great finish from him.
On as a substitute in this for Nico O'Reilly, who was dropped to the bench for the midweek game against Brighton after starting the last 11 league games. He's certainly impressed, which has seen him called up for the national side by Thomas Tuchel on the last two occasions, as well as Exeter City have the possession. They're lining up another substitution for the final 10 minutes of this one. It is Edward Francis who's just going through his final preparations before being introduced, but Manchester City will have a throw in deep inside their own half of the field. Jim Whitley certainly wouldn't bet against Manchester City getting at least one or two more.
There's still 10 minutes to go, yes, absolutely. As Exeter's heads go down, it is looking that way as they break now.
The ball over the halfway line. Jamie Doku bundled over, the yellow card given. City were away there, the referee Adam Herzig didn't really have much option. Doku trying to get in on the act in behind there as well, and a cynical challenge came in.
It was. It started with Shirky near his own goal line, to be honest with you. Had a little flick of the ball, flicked it up, cleared it, went long. It dropped down, the ball was flicked on again, and Doku was through. He got a touch to the ball and was away. He wasn't the last man, but I've seen people sent off for that, but some would say it's a professional foul. Stopped him in his tracks, and he got booked for his efforts. Doku's all right. He's up and fit as O'Reilly stands over the ball, and it looks like 2 more extra substitutions.
Yeah, Ethan Brierley makes his way off. Once had trials here at Manchester City, was told he wasn't good enough, went and played his trade at Rochdale before joining Exeter City. Also coming onto the field for the Grecians, George Birch has 8.5 minutes or so to try and impress in this one. It's going to be Liam Oakes who makes way for him after a difficult afternoon on that left-hand side, up against Ryan McAdoo on debut for Manchester City. 82 minutes coming up on the clock here on BBC Radio Manchester. Manchester City 8, Exeter 0. Here also on 5 Sports Extra and available via BBC Sounds. Manchester City in action again on Tuesday night. They're up at Newcastle in the first of their 2-legged semi-final of the League Cup. I think it's usually this point in the season where Pep Guardiola starts to get asked about a quadruple. Well, he's still in all 4 competitions at this moment in time as they look to advance up the right-hand side as they try a little rainbow flicking towards the corner, but Exeter City managed to read it and it's cleared up towards halfway. But there's just simply no outlet for Gary Caldwell's side. Collected once again by M. Funny. James Trafford on the edge of his box, waving, maybe just wanting a little bit of the action, but instead City advanced down the right once more. Kirstenov played it into the path of McAdoo as well before City opt to recycle the possession around the back.
I have to say then, yeah, Shirk he's been pulling the strings, but on that occasion he tried a little flick over a player. For me, it almost looks like showboating. I'm not a big lover of that. If I was a player there, I would definitely be trying to get into him. They're doing well, and you know, the 8 goals to 0 up. I'm not a big lover of that, starting flicking balls over to make it look like you're showboating. But look, he's got the skills to do it, which a lot of players don't. But he's been very skillful this afternoon. He has ran the show from midfield, and he's been absolutely brilliant all afternoon.
Jeremy Doku looked to advance into the penalty area on the left-hand side, but was denied by the offside flag as he tries to get in on the action. That just allows Exeter City the chance to clear it over the halfway line through the free kick, which resulted from the offside flag going up. Manchester City's record FA Cup win, in fact, came back in 1890. It was 12-0 against Liverpool Stanley, so they need 5 goals if they're going to beat that this afternoon, and they're on the hunt for another one again up the right-hand side. The ball into the path of Shirky once more, right at the penalty area. Fitzwater just beats him to it, plays it out towards Woodhouse in the left centre-back position of Exeter. They play the 1-2 before it's fired up towards McGuinness on halfway. Does well to win the header, just nods it down and into the path of Higgins as he looks to get Mendes Gomez on his way across the halfway line. Those two exchange the 1-2 as they advance into the City half. Left-hand side, Exeter have the chance to try create some inroads, but the substitute George Birch opted not to advance on the penalty area on that occasion. Goes back to towards his own half, loses out, and now here comes Tiani Reiners with the chance to break forward. Right hand side, Shirky has it, options in the middle, 2 in sky blue awaiting. Will he eventually get the cross in? Just looks to stand Woodhouse up, brings it back on his left foot, plays it back down the line where Lewis collects, does fall towards the edge of the area. The shot comes in eventually from McAdoo, straight into the gloves of Joe Whitworth. He makes a save on that occasion, and it remains City 8, Exeter 0.
I'd love to see him hit the ball more. As I said, we watched him in the warm-up and he was absolutely unbelievable, so I'd like to see more of him on that front. City at that point just lost a little bit of their shape, especially in midfield. But it just meant that when they won the ball back, they were straight through, and it was O'Reilly that drove through the midfield with Reinders.
Masaka on the edge of a loose ball towards the penalty area, right hand side. McAdoo shoots, and McAdoo finds the back of the net. A debut goal for Ryan McAdoo to cap off A splendid game for him. In from the right-hand side, drills it in left-footed, beats the goalkeeper. Manchester City 9, Exeter City 0.
That's his second shot. He looked dangerous on that left foot, and he's had chance to look up, and he's drilled it with his left foot. I think it was still a side foot, a little bit of top spin on it. It's gone into that bottom left-hand corner of the goalkeeper's. A great strike. I'd love to see again some more of him, because he was a fantastic striker of the ball. He's only small, very jinky, still got a lot to learn, but he has got a wonderful left foot, I have to say. And it was Reinders that's been doing very well. It was on this occasion was Max Allen that played it out to him. Brilliant play from McAdoo. Very, very good.
Elaine, Rodri, Ake, Lewis, Semenyo, Reinders, O'Reilly, McAdoo, and an own goal. 9 goals for Manchester City, 9 different goal scorers. A superb afternoon in the FA Cup third round for them. McAdoo capping off a lively game for him. So we're into the final minutes here at the Etihad Stadium. City, a comfortable afternoon for them. Is there any sign of any hope for Bolton Wanderers at London Road? Jack Dearden.
Not much at the moment, Joyce. Still trailing by 3 goals to 1. We're just about to enter the final 60 seconds of the normal 90, and all the changes now being made by Stephen Schumacher. A brief resilience at the commencement of the second half, but realistically Peterborough pretty much in control right from kick-off. Worrying times these for the Wanderers. They're trailing by 3 goals to 1.
Niskanen has it for Exeter on the right. BBC Radio Manchester with you till 6. 0800 218 2255. The number to call to have your say on any of the day's action. Macclesfield fans, we want to hear from you. The biggest shock in FA Cup history. The first time a 6th tier side has knocked out a team in the top division in the competition's 154-year history. Again, the number 0800 218 2255. Bolton fans, just how worried are you? Is your race for promotion derailing in front of your eyes? 3-1 they trail currently at London Road in the dying stages of that one. And Manchester City fans, just how impressed have you been at this? 9-0 the score. They're looking to make it into double figures as they advance up the right-hand side again. We want to hear from you on any of the day's action. Lewis in the possession for the Sky Blues. 1-2 with Bernardo, right-hand side of the field. Bernardo collects a loose ball before turning it back towards Kusanov, out towards the right-hand side where Funny collects. Just puts his left foot on the ball before Kusanov in his bright orange boots jogs tenderly into the...
Hello, my name is Asha Patmos Makanye and I'm from Rwanda. I heard about LCHE from an alumni. He basically said that this school had a lot of diversity and they pursued excellence in a different way from other institutions, and that intrigued me to see it firsthand for myself. As I
to have it, edge of the area, Hurst, left-footed, oh my word!
And good play from Manchester City. Every time they go forward, they look like they're going to score. They really do. The defenders, I would not like to be a defender for Exeter right now. It's great to get the goal, but wow, they are opened up on every occasion.
Exeter's reprieve was short-lived and City hungry for more. Into 3 minutes of stoppage time. We've played 2 of them already as Doku has a possession on the left. Challenge comes in from Niskanen, throwing to the Sky Blues. 10-1 the score to Manchester City.
Even Max Allen has moved forward in this occasion. They're trying to get the ball as the defenders have rotated. This now Nick O'Reilly is filled in as Max Allen stays up front. Unbelievable rotation. Very, very confident on all of them.
As the challenge comes in, City have a free kick around a yard or so to the right of the centre circle inside the Exeter half of the field. Again, the number to call to have your say from now until 6, 0800 218 2255, whether you support City, Bolton, who are losing, or Macclesfield, who've had that fantastic result earlier today. Stockport County also won in League One as well. A late goal for them saw them beat Huddersfield Town. Stockport fans, you can have your say. Is your charge for the top two back on track? Go 800 218 2255 at BBC RM Sport on X, with you on BBC Radio Manchester and BBC Sounds until 6 p.m. Doku has it, edge of the area. Lewis looks to feed it through towards Reiners. Challenge comes in. Exeter have the free kick. Referee blows his whistle, which signals the end of the game. And what an afternoon it has been for Manchester City. Comfortable, professional from Pep Guardiola's side. They cruise into a 4-0 lead at half-time. They've scored 10. They've had 9 different goal scorers. Lewis, the man with a brace. Semenyo with a goal on debut. However, George Birch's strike for Exeter, probably the pick of the bunch. That gives the away side something to smile about. But on the whole, a brilliant afternoon for Pep Guardiola's side. It's finished here at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City 10, Exeter City 1.
So no clean sheet for Manchester City. They'll be absolutely kicking themselves, but they are into the 4th round of the FA Cup. They have scored 10 against League One Exeter. No such struggles for City as Crystal Palace had. The holders are out of the FA Cup, beaten in a memorable afternoon at Macclesfield. Manchester City safely negotiating their way into the next round with a 10-1 win over Exeter. The thoughts of Jim Whitley to come very shortly. Let's head to League One ourselves, though. Deep in stoppage time, and it looks like 1 win in 6 for Bolton Wanderers. Jack Dearden.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be wrong there, Bill. Here come Peter again, looking for the 4th goal. We are in the very closing seconds of what has been an eventful but desperately disappointing afternoon for Bolton Wanderers. It's nowhere near good enough, this, by Bolton. Ponderous in defence, wasteful in midfield, and lacking any real punch up front. Goals from Jimmy J. Morgan and Garbett established an advantage for Peterborough. Brief hope when Dolby pulled one back for Bolton, but it lasted barely a minute. Lisbon fired a third to make it 3-1. Mason Burstow summed up a miserable afternoon for the Wanderers when he missed one-on-one with the goalkeeper, rolling it past of the far post. As you've already alluded to the fact, it is 1 win in 6 now, and that means that early season promise is in real danger of disappearing. Stephen Schumacher and Wanderers need to find a solution.